bit mixed, but it's largely lower for the Asian market.
Board expects me and the team to change the gears, and that's exactly what you're going to see.
We are on the Nifty 160 odd points away from an all-time high.
Inflation numbers came in lower than what RBI forecast for April, May, June. So they have to lower it.
They aspire to be at the forefront of the global battery manufacturing industry. Just about consolidating our gains in the first tick on the index.
What the market is focusing on as of now is some recovery in volumes.
Our ambition is to double our data revenues.
The MPC decided unanimously to keep the policy repo rate unchanged.
I don't think the loan rates are going to go up in any significant manner.
The Nifty now at 18,767. 777 has been the high. We're practically there.
The growth momentum is extremely strong.
BofA Securities has actually upgraded Paytm to a buy.
Will you look for more enduring ways like, an OMO purchase or something like that?
We'll remain nimble, we will remain flexible.
It's around 86 points off from the day's high.
All right, you're with us here on a fresh new edition of Closing Bell. We're coming to you live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studios. And we're going to get you the next hour, the last hour of trade this Thursday afternoon. I'm Prashant, with me, my colleagues Reema and Surabhi. Guys, hi.
Hi, afternoon.
Hi, afternoon. One big event done and dusted, the RBI monetary policy. So now we'll talk about the US monetary policy, right? Next week.
There's always something, right?
There's always something
always
to
something
look ahead
to look forward to. But markets are taking a bit of a breather, right? I mean, I think it's pretty clear that that is the case, but nothing large. Off the highs, but not really going anywhere. I was joking with someone that 10 years ago, we used to say that the market goes up on a staircase and comes down on an elevator. It's the opposite now. I mean, the market goes up on an elevator and slowly ambles along lower, sideways, gently, nothing sharp. And that's what you're seeing here as well. And I think this would hold over long periods of time. I mean, I'm saying 3-4 years. Nothing, especially in the last 3-4 years. And we're seeing one more that kind of a day. 18,679 or so. Just below the all-time highs on the index. But we'll get to the larger discussion a little later. RBI threw no surprises at all, although it did kind of resisted the dovish temptation I was saying earlier. It's not changed its stance. Everybody was expecting a pause, but some were saying, well, maybe they will change their stance, which has not happened. Advanced decline today is a little negative, and that is after many, many days. But again, nothing dramatic there. Some 400 stocks separate losers and gainers. And global markets are pretty tepid. US futures are flat. I don't think there's any big data point later today which may decide things one way or the other. In the US, things, I would say, actually are getting better. It's not just 7 stocks dominating all of the gains. The rally is broadened out. The small caps are participating. The banks, which were on the sidelines, they're participating as well. But it's just recent, last 4 or 5 days, we need to see continuity there as well. So it's a quiet day right now. Reema.
Hi. For me, the big takeaway is that the RBI has messaged the markets. They've guided to the markets that don't expect rate cuts anytime soon. They're likely to remain on pause for a longer time because of their laser focus on inflation. So they could be in for a pause longer than what the market was anticipating. There were a few economists who were looking at perhaps a rate hike happening as early as the end of this calendar year. Now, those expectations may be pushed back, and that was a reset which took place in the market somewhere around 11:30, 11:45. The good part is, after that one reset down, the markets have largely been stable. So the Nifty is currently at 18,690. It's a cut of 37 odd points, but the last 2 hours have been around these levels. The real estate index has taken the biggest knock today. So the realty index is down 1.2%. Banks haven't fallen too much considering it's an interest sensitive. So the Nifty banking index is just down close to about 0.1%. And that's because names like HDFC Bank, HDFC Limited, State Bank of India are all holding up in the green. So it's a mixed bag in the banking space, and they're helping cut the losses on the Nifty bank and hold it afloat. IT is under pressure, so Tech Mahindra is in fact your top Nifty loser right now with a cut of more than 2%, and the other large caps are following suit. And outside of the index, it's Power, which is caught my attention. NTPC, Power Grid, NHPC. 2% gains,
yeah.
That's the pocket which is active.
Oh, absolutely. There is some buying quite evident in that space. Profit taking really, I think, in areas of the market that had moved up. Autos, like you mentioned, a lot of those auto stocks at 52-week highs.
cooling off just a little bit. I want to mention one or two other names from the broader market, though today is a day where the mid-cap index is also taking it easy. It is down a little more than the Nifty at this point in time. That's the mid-cap index for you. The advance decline ratio is negative, no taking away from that. So yes, it is a very definitive profit booking kind of a session. So no denying that. But there are individual stories as usual. So I want to pick up two stocks from the so-called new age economy. One is PB Fintech, the other is Paytm. And today we had an interesting note from Bank of America. They are positive on Paytm, think that this is a good journey to profitability. Their target prices are above northwards of 800. They're negative on PB Fintech, saying perhaps a lot of it has already played out and the price is already factoring in the best, at least at this juncture. So those divergent views on those two stocks, and both the stocks reacting today. In terms of some other interesting up moves, if you talk about gainers, you do have some names, even in a declining market. I mean, you have something like a JBM Auto, Car Trade, some of the tier 2 auto sector names, ancillaries, so to speak. These are stocks that are on the upside, on the winning tally. That's JBM pretty much at the day's high today. Ather Industries, has been news on that stock as well, and that's been up on decent volumes as well. So Ather is up about 6%. Basically, some of the auto ancillary or related auto players doing well today. I want to talk about oil marketing companies because that's again a very straightforward trend right from the morning. Your IOC, BPCL, HPCL all down in anticipation of this fuel price cut, potential cut that Sapna alerted us on. So that's one space in focus. And Mazgaon Dock, probably another stock that we've spoken about a lot in this week. After that huge rally that we've seen this week, there's a day of profit taking on Mazgaon today because the news is out. We know about their tie-up with ThyssenKrupp when it comes to submarines. So lots of stocks and news. We will cover these and more as we go along. Let's in fact tell you what's lined up on the show today. So RBI's Monetary Policy Committee decides to hold rates and keep its stance unchanged even as it sees economic growth holding up and inflation staying near the 5% mark in FY24, well above its target of 4%. All the highlights coming up, and a couple of stocks in focus as well, Reema.
Yes, Paytm is surging on the back of a positive brokerage note from BofA Securities, while PB Fintech is under pressure, and that's because BofA has downgraded the stock to an underperform. So key highlights from the brokerage note coming up.
Shares of Gati have been surging today after the company reported a strong business update for the month of May. We will get you all the details.
India will need huge amounts of steel, says JSW Group Chairman Sajjan Jindal to CNBC-TV18, explaining why JSW Steel is spending $25 billion to up capacity from 28 to 50 million tons by 2030. He adds that cement and the infrastructure business could go public in the next 2 years. Key excerpts from that conversation coming up on the show.
And of course, we get you market perspective. Our guest on the show today would be Mithun Ashwath of Kiva Advisors. All that and more over the next 50 minutes.
Okay, well, how should you position yourself?